Hey, what's up? What's up? Hope you are here to join me for this nighttime stream. Let's focus on some politics. We had a nice, dope, chilled hangout during the day there. I had some homies to help me offload my chest, yo. And we'll be doing a bit more of that later. But for now, seeing as the day has gone past, there's been some news. I just wanted to see something. So Mighty has a video here that has been premiered for the last 19 minutes. So let's just quickly hop into it and hear what he's got to say. Then thereafter, we'll look at King Setso. There's a bit more of Floyd, and he's been speaking more about the ANC, MK, and the DA. And then we'll go to a video called Why Married Men Lose Self-Respect, right? We're going to be imparting some lessons towards young dudes who are not married yet, and married men who find themselves now without male support, without bromance. You're closed in a corner where you're having to deal with emotions and emotional manipulation. That's a seriously, highly possible thing in the realm of women there. They do it quite a lot. So let's get straight. Maybe as well we'll look at Dan Mace will take too long, bruh. Nah. This is going to take way too long. We're not gonna watch that. We'll just end the stream and then I'll go to sleep. I plan to sleep around 9 today. Like early so that I wake up even earlier. Like I'm resetting my sleeping schedule. I plan to sleep earlier. And then wake up earlier and sleep even earlier if possible. So let's get into Mighty Jamie there.
Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. The MK party held a press conference today and they clarified some things and they announced some things. The first thing that they did was they announced what is effectively their shadow cabinet. And this is something that was overdue. It's typical of an opposition, official opposition, to have a shadow cabinet, have various people who explain how they view the developments that are playing out in that particular department, their vision for that particular department. If you think of the DA, they've had various people occupying shadow ministry positions over the years that they've been in the official opposition. And you'll see that also in the United Kingdom. You'll see the shadow cabinet often using that status that I am the person who, if the dynamics shift, will be in this position. It's also a way of gauging the seniority of various people within the political party in and of itself. So if you are, for instance, the shadow minister of finance, that reflects that you're taken seriously in that department, and so on and so on. So it's important that they did this. I think it's overdue. I mentioned that they ought to have done this long ago, and I've spoken at times about how that was one of the things I felt was missing from the MK party and its parliamentary participation. So this is something that will help them profile their activities in parliament, something that will help the media contact the relevant people effectively and understand what the various policy positions and reactions are from the party as and when things play out. I think it's fair to say that the MK party has so far been falling behind in having their strikers scoring goals on the pitch of parliament. I think we've seen more activity, more effective activity from, the DA, the EFF, Rise Mzansi, Build One South Africa, even than what we may have seen from the MK party. But I think they appreciate that some of the things that they've been doing has been missed because they haven't had a proper structure in order to let the public know, let the media know. They haven't had a point person for every department dealing with a variety of things. So they've done that now, and I think we may see something more from them in respect to them being able to let the public know what they're working on. Right now, they're in prime position to actually maximize on being official opposition. They've got 50 plus seats. The DAs in the coalition government, they can basically criticize both the DA and the ANC. They can be opposing, they can be proposing, and that's something that I think they will need to get a grasp of. And I think there's an appreciation that they need to do that, which is why we're seeing what's happened today. Now, the second thing that happened is they clarified some things. They responded to the issue of the changes in the whippery, and particularly the letter to Nhlamulo Ndlela. Nhlamulo, if you recall, did an interview where he appeared to imply that the letter about his conduct was a fraudulent letter, a letter which was being circulated with the letterhead but wasn't a genuine and authentic letter. But Dr. Mandlakaise Hlophe clarified that, and the letter is genuine. The contents of that letter are genuine. The issues raised in that letter are genuine. This is what Dr. Mandlakaise actually said about the issues of the letter.
There is a letter that was written by my office on the 23rd of June 2025, which was formally handed to him, right, in terms of which his whippery status as a deputy whip, in terms of which that was terminated. There were reasons clearly articulated in that letter. Following that, obviously, it meant he was no longer part of the whippery, because whenever we meet as a whippery, it's always myself, the chief whips, the deputy chief whip, and all other deputy whips. So a group of about 18 or 19 altogether. The result of terminating that meant he was no longer going to attend those meetings. He rocked up at a meeting and said he did not get the letter. His case was that he did not receive the letter terminating his membership as a whipper. The chief whip immediately said at that meeting, if you did not receive the letter, we will give you the letter after the meeting. After that, he came to me and raised the issue that he did not receive the letter. I said to him, we can't talk about the letter that you say you have not even received. Once you receive the letter, we may have a discussion along those lines. But also interesting, at that point, his defense or his excuse was he has not received the letter. He doesn't know what we're talking about. Alternatively, that his removal must be sanctioned by the president of Umkhonto weSizwe, which is clearly not the position. All along the changes that have taken place, the president of Umkhonto weSizwe was never involved. When it became clear that Commander Ndlela has in fact received the letter, his story changed. The letter is not authentic in as much as it's my electronic signature which appears on the letter, right? Now, it is important to say his stance initially was that he did not receive the letter. When it became abundantly clear that he has now received the letter, he changed to saying, no, this is not the signature of the parliamentary leader. If anything, this has been forced. Let me confirm categorically that the letter came from my office. It was on the strength of that letter dated the 26th of June, 23rd of June, in terms of which Commander Ndlela was removed. Interestingly, as he was busy saying he did not receive the letter, I got an SMS, a WhatsApp from my administrator, my PA, saying that, she still calls me Judge, saying that, Judge, here is proof that this was said to Commander Ndlela on the same day. He carried on saying that he didn't receive it. He repeated those allegations in the last caucus that we had. The bottom line is that the letter was sent to him before I sent it to the president, advising him of the significant changes that had taken place. Furthermore, I can assure you, I'm the head of the party. I'm the party leader here in government. Here in parliament. If any complaint is made against any staff member or any MP, it's brought to me because I'm ultimately responsible. There is no letter, there is no petition in terms of which MPs are calling for the head of the chief whip. This is a figment of someone's imagination, quite frankly. I would have been the first person to receive that petition. Obviously, if the petition is against me, I wouldn't expect MPs to give it to me. They would probably give it to the chief whip, who would in turn forward it to the president, who is sitting in Nkandla comfortably now. So the suggestion that there is a letter here, that there is a petition here against the chief whip is quite frankly nonsense. It is nonsense. There is no such. I have not received it. As a matter of fact, I asked Ubaba as late as last night to President Zuma. There is no such letter. Colleen Makhubele remains a chief whip here. She is very good. She is very effective as a chief whip. She is good. I'm not undermining the predecessors, but she is a kind of a chief whip that we need now to take the party forward. I confirm, therefore, categorically that there is no petition against the chief whip. And she remains our chief whip. She will remain as such until she is recalled strategically for one reason or the other.
That's a Gwazwound for Nhlamulo there. From what was being discussed, it appears that Nhlamulo misrepresented what he knew about the letter and misrepresented the authenticity of the letter in and of itself, because he gave an insinuation that it was a fabricated letter when he knew, as a matter of fact, that he had received a letter that was scathing in its assessment of his behavior and scathing in its assessment of the conduct also of Dudu Zuma. So I think it's good that Dr. Mandla Hlophe clarified this issue of the authenticity of the letter. And if you recall, in the last episode I did on this topic, I did suggest that this was something that the media actually needed to get clarity on and to get to the bottom of, so that they can understand what's happening in this third largest party and the official opposition in South Africa. There's a question that we need to consider, a question of ethics, because Nhlamulo right now is the spokesperson of the party. And there's a question we have to ask, that if the spokesperson of the party can flippantly and nonchalantly misrepresent official correspondence in his organization, one, is that ethical behavior? Two, how are we supposed to trust what he says in the future when he's speaking on behalf of the organization about a variety of things? He's done interviews talking about Floyd Shivambu. He's done interviews responding to the contents of this letter. And we heard Colleen say they'll instruct him not to speak about this letter. But there's something about now, how do we take the veracity of his representations?
Yeah, let's have a quick look at an article that just dropped here. MK Party parliamentary leader John Hlophe says party spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndlela defied his dismissal from the whippery, wanting it to be authorized by party leader Jacob Zuma. He also accused some in the caucus of wanting to pursue personal interest. Ndlela rocked up at a meeting and said he didn't get the letter terminating his membership as a whip, Hlophe told reporters during a press briefing on Thursday. The chief whip immediately said, "If you didn't receive the letter, we'll give it to you after the meeting." His excuse was that he had not received the letter. He doesn't know what we are talking about. Alternatively, his removal must be sanctioned by the leader of the party. Hlophe, with Chief Whip Colleen Makhubele, briefed the media to address tensions in the party's parliamentary caucus and to announce 36 portfolio committee leaders or appointments, which excluded Ndlela. He confirmed a letter which bore his electronic signature and which was dismissed by Ndlela as fake was authentic. "Let me confirm the letter dated June 23rd came from my office. It was on the strength of that letter that Ndlela was removed. My PA showed me proof that the letter was sent to him on the same day, yet he continued to claim he didn't receive it. The bottom line is the letter was sent before I shared it with Zuma." Hlophe added that there was no petition to oust Makhubele as chief whip. "It is nonsense. There is no such petition. I asked Ubaba, Zuma, and he confirmed there is no such letter. Makhubele remains chief whip and is very effective. I'm not undermining those who came before me, but she is the sort of whip we need to take the party forward." Dismissing claims that the party is in crisis because of Ndlela dismissal, Hlophe said, "The party is not falling apart. In the caucus, there are people who want to push their own agendas, and you know that by now time's live. Nah. Yeah. Yo, brother Noble Nitpicker. Aware, my brother, I'm not a woman. I'm confirmed that I'm straight with desires towards women. Yeah. How are you, dear sister? Oh, that's what's up. Hey, Noble Nitpicker, you didn't know that Michelle is dude. Yeah, let's keep the aliases. I'm glad to be calling dude Michelle there. It's kind of vibey and streamy and trendy. Hey, and while we are here, y'all did see this woman, Queen Nandi, whatsoever. I scrolled through my Facebook the other day and suddenly saw this sister posting a video screaming that she had been scammed and whatever. An example of fake lifery out on the YouTube. Gaming with Jonathan. Ayo, gaming with Jonathan. Jonathan, did we ever link up on TikTok? I think we did. I think I met you on TikTok when I was streaming on TikTok so that I can open up a setting that allows TikTok Studio on my computer to be able to send out a stream that we are watching on YouTube, so I can be on TikTok and on here. So we continue. What's up, Jonathan? Yo, if Jonathan is the one, he's a white kid. Nah? Yeah. So we just got some genders mixed up, some identities over there. It's all fun. Actually, let's be anonymous out here. I'll ask who's who whenever I do, but I won't be revealing. Yeah, we're dudes for the most part. Until a lady shows up and says, yo, I'm a lady and I'm part of the stream, I hang with y'all, then we'll know that we got a lady. But so far, we are an all boys club. Woo! Shout out to that.
To the public when he has been confounded so vehemently, so drastically by his senior in the party, the deputy president of the party. I don't know what we're supposed to think about this from an ethical perspective. Going on, the MK does seem keen on trying to get a robust parliamentary program and participation going. They seem keen on that. They seem keen on shaping up the whippery, shaping up their participation, shaping up their administration. And I think at this particular point, having both a former judge and a former speaker of the City of Johannesburg Council could really be helpful in accomplishing that. Colleen looks as if she's well-intentioned in terms of getting things to take shape. And Dr. Mandagai Setlope looks as if he's also keen on getting MK to stand out within Parliament. They're going to be making some recommendations on constitutional amendments. I don't know if they'll be successful in any of that in terms of the constitutional amendments, but this is a debate that I think will have people re-looking elements of the Constitution and re-understanding what the purpose and the constraints of the Constitution are. And in and of itself, that's valuable, right? Mkutama is kind of back in more of a frontline position, although he's still not very senior in the process, but he'll be assisting with this constitutional amendment process and the proposals around amending the Constitution. So just quickly, I think...
Hey, yo, welcome, Black Faith in the house. Yo, the Noble Nitpicker is a secret, man. Maybe it's the notification bell or something. Plus, I ain't got a schedule yet of announcing when I'm doing this. I'm still resetting my clock. Still trying to do these earlier and sleep even earlier. So those nighttime ones, those late night streams, I think those ones are done. And they are not sustainable because there's a week, of course, where wife will be working in here during this time. So I just need to master, all in all, waking up early, doing the most during the day, and then hopefully being out of here by 6. Unless I'm having to edit some videos thereafter, but streaming late is not going to be a thing, man. So be sure to keep up. Thank you for joining and wanting to join earlier and earlier. That is the whole point for all of us. We'll get it. We'll finally come to a time
I want to just respond to one of the things that Dr. Tlhophe wanted to get clarification from the public or the media. He wanted to know why there's so much interest in the changes of the whippery, why there's so much interest in the authenticity of the letter and all of that. And I think I can provide the answer, part of the answer, or if not the whole thing. It's because things have changed significantly since the departure of Floyd Shivambu from the Secretary General position. Since the departure of Mr. Shivambu, people are now going to be paying attention to the structural integrity of the party, partly because he made allegations and insinuations that, there's no structural integrity, that it's a family thing, it's a tribal thing. These are allegations that have now been put out into the public, and some of the supporters of the party will now be getting buyer's remorse or second thoughts and will be more concerned about what's actually going on. Is this thing a paper party, or is it something that is going to have longevity and last through local government elections until the next election? So things have changed since that departure because Floyd has made a rival organization, he's made allegations, and also the whippery shift and the details in the letter that was sent by Dr. John Tlhophe to President of the party, Jacob Zuma, seem to reinforce the public criticisms of Nhlamulo and Dudu Zuma. Right? Some of the stuff that was mentioned there about disruptive behavior, disrespectful behavior, these are some of the things which are also mentioned by Floyd Shivambu himself. So now, because of some of the turnover, some of the movements, and now the formation of this consultative process called Maibuye, people are now looking more carefully at the elements of the party and trying to make assessments of whether or not, their return for vote is going to be well spent, if you will, using a return on investment metaphor. The changes in various positions have made people more attentive to the developing dynamics of the party. And because of all of that, people are concerned. And that's the reason why the conversation is now having this texture and this shape. From these developments, it seems like Nhlamulo Ndlela will not necessarily become the Secretary General of the party. There were some reports that he was one of the names that was being considered for Secretary General, but he's having a bad media week. And also the letter and the contents of the letter were quite scathing in their assessment of his conduct, his behavior. And then he went on to media platforms saying that the letter was not a real thing, that, he spoke to Dr. Tlhophe and everything seemed all good. I think that's going to hurt his credibility, and it may make him a less likely option or a less likely pick for that position going forward. Having said that, that may actually be a good thing for him. Perhaps he needs to learn the ropes a little bit more. Perhaps he needs to mellow out a little bit more in the national limelight. If some of the criticisms about him that are being raised are true, he may have to take a step back and think about how he wants his political legacy to look like himself as somebody who now is in a prime position and somebody who is now on a national stage with the world watching and people assessing his leadership skills, his EQ, his IQ, his all of the cues. They're measuring how you are moving, Baba. And you may have to think that, okay, I've made some mistakes in the beginning and maybe I can bounce back and recalibrate my own things. I think as human beings, we should always try to learn from each other, learn from the moments. Politicians and athletes are often in the limelight and allow us to observe what's happening in their offices and learn from those so that we can work on our own personal growth and development from those particular lessons. I don't know if that's such a moment, but I don't know what you guys think about the whole development. The letter to Nhlamulo, the letter that was sent to President Zuma, the letter that was also sent to Dudu Zuma, which we never got to see. But both of the letters that we did get to see seem to be quite scathing. I don't know what you think about this new shadow cabinet. That's not what they're calling it, but it's effectively a shadow cabinet. So just to help you and the public understand what they've announced, what do you think about the MK shadow cabinet and whether or not these adjustments are going to help them actually stand out and be the official opposition, not only in name, but in reputation in the public, imagination? Because if you recall, Julius Malema of the EFF was saying that, no, they're the official opposition. Indeed, de facto, basically, is what he was saying. So I don't know what you think about that. Let's have a conversation in the comments. Do you think that this particular set of developments basically means that Nhlamulo may actually end up in the backbenches of the MK party, or that this is just a blip for him as he continues to pursue whatever his own political ambitions may be? Let's have a conversation in the comments. I'll catch you there.
Oh, almighty Jamie. And so, now, let's hop on over to King Said So without any waste of time. Welcome, Blackface.
Habari ma Afrika, mimi ni King, nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Asante kwa kutazama King Said So. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to cover the interview that Floyd Nico Shivambu, Mr. Maibuye, had there at the Hilal program on DSTV. Luckily, they have also a YouTube channel and they uploaded that episode there. So I just want to break down on some of the key things that Floyd Shivambu touched on that episode. Let's talk about that, Paseta, and much more.
Hola, King said so.
King said
We're
so.
here, man. I've brought
Africa's one language, one currency,
the men's
one
conference
arm.
here.
King said so. Africans can unite. Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Did it clap?
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Setso. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane, host is in Jiva Sono. And we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're talking about Floyd Nkosi-Shivambo. Nice interview that he had there with Hilal channel. I'm not sure what's the name of the program, but Hilal is the name of the channel that I got the full interview from. Apparently they've got also a channel on DSTV3 something. I don't have DSTV, so I don't know. So go there on their channel, subscribe to their channel, watch the full interview from their channel also, so that you can be informed. You can watch the entire interview and be better informed from what I'm going to break down here. Is just the snippets from that interview. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. On day number 2 of July, we had 9 people donating to the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. If you see your name on the screen, you are a boss. You are a can-get. You are a trailblazer. We thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone that has donated. And please don't forget to go to our Paseta YouTube channel, where you are going to get more information about Paseta, what we are busy doing at Paseta. It is very important that we are trying to break or separate the two brands, King Setso and Paseta, so that people who maybe don't like the face of King Setso, the voice of King Setso, can tune into Paseta and go and listen to what we have to say about Paseta related matters. And some of you, Frostana, you watch both of the channels regardless. So thank you so much for the support that we're having there. We are asking for 1,000 people to donate for the month of July, each 50 rand, so that we can kickstart the building project for Paseta. So we believe that we're going to reach it. 9 people donated on the 2nd of July, and 7 people donated on the 1st of July. So if be that person who's going to send us a 50, who's going to wire us a 50 rand on the 3rd of July. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for that. Please go to Paseta School YouTube channel for more information. I want to talk about this interview of Floyd, because I was watching it and I was asking myself, why is Floyd going to this Muslim channel to have this interview? Floyd can go to any platform, remember, any platform. Floyd can call King Setso and say, King Setso, tomorrow we have an opening at 9 o'clock. Can we come and shoot? I will drop everything. And that goes for all the YouTube channels. Especially those that are doing interviews like Dr. Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, and even those who are not doing interviews. If Floyd was to call Zizipo would interview Floyd. Everyone will interview Floyd. So it was something that was thought of, or a sort of a strategic move to go to the Muslim people. The situation with Bushiri and everything, the Muslim Judiciary Council that got him fired as the Secretary General. So it was quite interesting to see him go and be hosted in a Muslim channel. I was very, very interested to see what is it that he's trying to do. Let's listen to what he said about the people who are voting in South Africa, those who did not vote, and what he's planning to do. Listen to this.
You know that in South Africa, more than 41 million people are above the age of 18, meaning that they're eligible to vote. But in the 2024 general elections, it was less than 18 million people who participated in elections, meaning that there is beginning to be less and less interest in the democratic and electoral processes, because the existing parties seem to be not offering alternate and real solutions to the problems that are confronting society. So we are legitimately asking a question to the people of South Africa as to whether we should establish a political party or a political movement, and if we do so, what values should guide that particular party, and what should distinguish that political party from the existing movement, so that it becomes an instrument for transformation, an instrument for progress, an instrument to drive economic development, the development of the productive forces, an instrument to create full employment for the people of South Africa, an instrument to have a government that will fight crime and have common prosperity for all the people of South Africa. That is the process that we're engaged in.
Okay, so this is where I want to start this interview. I'm also concerned about this thing, like 41 million people can go and vote in South Africa, but they are choosing not to vote in South Africa. Only 18 million people are voting in South Africa in the last elections, around 18 million people. So there is we can call it that there is space for someone to target those people. It can be the existing political parties who can just amend their strategy in terms of campaigning and all of that to go and get these people. It's usually the poorest of the poorest and what I would like to call the missing middle class, those who are able to survive. The petrol is expensive, but they are surviving. The electricity is expensive, they are surviving. So politics does not impact and affect them that much. So they can decide, I'm not going there. But also there's that group, 18-year-old to 21-year-old. If you look at the stats of the IEC, you see that those ones are also staying away from voting. They are not turning up in a big number. That is where these political parties should be targeting, because it's easy to influence them in a group, but you need a personality that can bring them out. So Floyd is targeting those people. Now we know, and now he's going to talk about the alternative to the other political parties, and that big organizations are free to join this Maibuye thing. Guys, listen to this.
Maibuye consultation process. They can come and make their inputs as to what they think should be an alternate vision of politics in South Africa. So everyone is open. Even if later on there is a conclusion that we should form a political movement, there is already beginning to be suggestions that that political movement should not just be through membership of one individual. It must be opened to affiliate membership as well, where large institutions and organizations can join as organizations. So once that period gives us the direction that we must open up the process, everyone else is allowed to join, whether it's the Muslim community or Muslim associations, in terms of what happens. So it's an open process that is available for everyone else to associate with.
This might be new. Maybe I'm not too much into politics, I don't know. But this is new. Floyd is saying organizations can hold membership cards, meaning what example can I make? He's making examples about churches and all of those things. But an organization can say, we are joining Maibuye as an organization. For me, that's dangerous, because it does not mean it's not an ally like the South African Communist Party voting for the ANC fully, and you know that there you've got someone that you can rely on, even though the ANC abused the Communist Party for years to come. But he's saying the new strategy is that it does not have to be an individual. An organization can come and say, we as the civil what movement, we believe in what you are doing, we are going to partner with you guys by joining and writing and signing up as a member. It does not have to be an individual. It's something quite new. You guys tell me if you think that is a good idea. They're trying to play an alternative opposition for an alternative option for the political system that we currently have right now. So organizations can come and not I'll say everyone in the organization write down your ID number, but an organization can come and say, okay, we as Paseta, for example, sorry for that terrible example, we are joining Maibuye, and then me as a Paseta guy will have to convince the Paseta people
non-stop.
I don't know how is that going to happen. He spoke about the ANC, spoke about the economic freedom fighters, spoke about the MK political party, to say those political parties cannot liberate the people in their current state.
Bro, like, he's so consistent, so firing. His videos are so hot. I can't even remember that I myself was hot and firing. I remember doing that was tunnel vision. Since I stopped to take a breath, I fell off that pace so much that that was the dedication of my life and time. Of course, it's not like I've just ran 100-meter sprint at the fastest time, I'll never run it again. No, that was an increasing of my bandwidth. It was a very amazing challenge to be able to do these videos so quickly and to put them out so regularly. But now that I've seen that, yes, I'm trying to get back to that level. I'm a bit timid. I feel like I'm rusty, but I should trust in the new system, trust in the new content, and go back to putting it out as well. I think it will eventually catch fire. I haven't been putting these out. I've been enjoying streaming, and of course I've been suffering from tiredness from trying to get this streaming setup together. Even now, Michelle, you can see that here I'm using a software called OBS to be able to stream and to change scenes, to go from this to this. I used to have to do this in post-production, but now I've laid everything together, in layers, and now I'm just able to go, between these two views. But then the full package of this is my my camera over here, this little area, this little box of me here. If you've seen it in the edited content, it grows a little bit sometimes. So sometimes I stay on this scene and then this box here grows, or sometimes the whole screen just zooms in towards that little box. So those zoom ins, I do those in post-production. It would be even doper if I can find a way to do them live on cue. So basically a time would come where I have like a producer, somebody who's sitting on the other side of the table watching this monitor that outputs the whole stream, and that producer would switch scenes, switch to this one, zoom in on this one when I speak, and that's why I'm looking for plugins to zoom in and do this on the fly rather than in post-production. That way, bro, like it will be so dope, because I want to bring the dopest content possible, bro, like vavavoom, zoom, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure y'all have seen in that Colbert, there's a video, episode 1 of the Twitter files, where I had a look at Colbert's stuff. There I put in the most work to actually realize and see the format in full. So whenever I do something and it's the first one, I like to make the first product the very best, the finest, so I can see what levels I can really get to. So I put all my effort in. Of course, I won't be able immediately to put that level of work into each and every content. But in that one here, Colbert, you may have seen even articles jump in, like citations. So when we're talking about a subject matter, articles, headlines from that we're pulling in. So I was going, fetching them and throwing them in there, and your comments were also being highlighted, appearing on a black box. That's the level I want to get to, bruh. I want to do this at a level that is unreachable, so that other content creators, if they think to do this, they'll have to be so damn technical. And yeah, bruh. Yeah. So I'm hoping to do this much better and faster, so that I can keep up with the King Said So's and Summer Sambit, It's my intention to go for Summer Sambit like this. I plan to take advantage of his, suddenly he suddenly picked up a pace. Seems like since February, March and April, when I set this standard and I started dropping. I literally even saw Citizen Concern start to drop every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And she would stop Saturday and Sunday. But prior to that, she was dropping once or twice a week. I guess it was because Trump was still fresh in office and the neoliberals had some vibes. They really felt like, let South Africa so change, ababa tata, America figil. If you see her now, her channel, you can see that she spent some days off. She's a woman. She has gotten tired of propaganda. You see, the men who are putting her up to it would not even have that much strength themselves. So our weaker vessel, you've run out of power. Now the young man there, Sama Sambit, is doing the running there, and he's doing it pretty good. My intention, I think next week, this I can pull it off next week, I intend to respond to every Sama Sambit video. Wherever he is, he'll be knowing that the whole day, on stream we'll be together waiting for a Sambit video. So you post and say, hey, yo, Sambit has dropped something. Then we'll hop in. If I'm off stream and he drops something, we'll hop in and drop, hop in, drop, hop in, drop. Even if it means I respond to him the whole week, I want to see what would happen. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on other things, but I want to make definitely sure to keep up with that pace so that the propagandists who are behind him can recognize that we as South Africans can raise the standard. When the enemy comes like a flood, the Lord will raise the standard, and we'll climb even higher and higher. So Sambit is on new levels, and he needs to be met with new levels so that he doesn't think in his mind, or those who are in charge of him don't think that they are the best there is. So the noble nitpicker, Sambit is just reading negative, nonsensical scripts. It's much easier, especially because there's money in it. Black Faith. Like I said, I love this new format. I don't have to watch the videos one by one. I just come here and watch while getting your point of view. Thanks, and you get to hop in. I appreciate you. Yeah. So, King is dizzy. Floyd is not that big unless we are speaking literally. NC keeps breaking up into small pieces. Yo, Black Faith, what do you think? Ama video ka KG are boring now, and she's no longer she no longer posts like before. Hi, you me now, I always run to you. My eyes, I'm realizing that my eyes have like a problem. Now, and she no longer posts like before. You me now, I always run to you to snitch. Oh la, let's gather. One day maybe I will even create a Zoom call which will be able to accommodate all of y'all. The top dudes, will be able to speak ngomlomo, Yeah, bring it to the police station. Bring it over here. We'll deal with Katlego. She's run out of energy, man. But you know what? I think competition really sharpens us. It was a very tumultuous time, that February, April, when the war of words were really flying. It was a really serious, hectic time, but I enjoyed looking at Barking. There's something that I've heard capitalists say when they say that competition makes people better. I think Bo Sama Sambit and Bo Katlego had to really run a serious pace because there was me bursting into the scene suddenly, and there are people backing them. Probably thought that I am also sent by a rival, maybe on the left. I think they say George Soros is the one buying people to oppose right-wingers. Apparently there's a white guy. As much as we've known right-wingers and racists and propaganda pushers to be men on the right, pro-Trump, Afrikaners, white South Africans, all of that stuff. Apparently there's a leftist propagandist, somebody who's pushing homosexuality, feminism, and the right believe that they have a legit claim to oppose that because there's a billionaire who brings it about. They say that homosexuality, views of the left, and all of those things, fights against racism, are not really commonplace. He says that there's a person who has set movements and a culture into motion. And the right-wingers believe that, hey, no. We are fighting here an intentional enemy. If the world didn't have George Soros, the propagandists on the right believe that they wouldn't be so extreme. They wouldn't have to make so many videos. But they believe that they have an evil that they are combating. And so during that time, I saw even Ronaldo saying, hey, there's something going on here. There's something fishy. He was thinking that maybe I'm a plant, maybe I'm bored, maybe there's somebody who has put me forth like the Summer Sambits. Because Bo Ronaldo know that to be their tricks. And so Bokatlejo had to step up their pace during that time. Ronaldo has just always been Ronaldo. You see. But me taking a break in Yana, you could see Bokatlejo going, whoo, yes. That guy is taking a break in Yana. Maybe later now we must take a break. Plus, the Trump thing hit a climax, and then now things are a bit slower. Trump and Musk are having their own issues. Those who were hoping in that tech team partnership to do something for them in South Africa is doing nothing for them. So like they've lost steam. They've lost pace. They are tired and lost strength as well. You know? Yeah.
For 5 years, I sat in all the decision-making structures in Luthuli Housing. I know the election strategies. I know the economic transformation processes and what happens. And I know the limitations that perennially can never be resolved within the ANC in terms of pursuit of meaningful agenda. I know the decision-making process of the EFF. I know that it is not an instrument for change. It is not an instrument for liberation. It is not an instrument for common prosperity. I know the decision-making process of Umkhonto we Sizwe, and I know beyond any doubt that Umkhonto we Sizwe is not an instrument for change.
But you're a member of it.
I am a member of Umkhonto we Sizwe. So this is what happens.
Okay, before he continues, let me cut him there because he's going to say something that is very important on the next clip that I want us to break down. The ANC has got its limitation. It cannot liberate the people. He's saying that the Economic Freedom Fighters is not an instrument for change. The MK political party is also not an instrument for change. And now the issue is you are starting to see the true colors of Floyd coming out. In the beginning, he was not talking too much against the MK political party. He was trying to say the problem is the people that are surrounding Zuma. But now he's talking straight because he can see that this issue of Maibuye is gaining momentum. I saw they had a meeting somewhere and I was like, hey, Zakale, Maibuye, they are being serious. So, what is happening now? He's telling the people, don't vote for the
I really thought the white people were gonna win something. I really thought they had the power to make lies into truth. Seems it's not possible.
Positions in the ANC for the longest of time. I think it's 5 years or something or more. So trust me, the ANC itself has got a lot of limitations. The Economic Freedom Fighter is not a liberation movement. It's not an instrument of change. You know, a person who's been there for how many years was he there? 10 years, 11 years plus. He says the EFF cannot give us any change. That's what Floyd says. And then he says also the same thing about the MK political party. But then there's something that he says about a political party not fully, reflecting your whole being. And you have to stay in a political party and change it from within. When he said that, I was like, I think he had a slip of a mind, of a tongue here, because what he says, he's doing the opposite of. But let's listen to Floyd, and then I'll come back for more comment.
No.
Yo, let me get a sleep pill, pop it now, so that when I hop off the stream, I'll sleep immediately. It takes like 40 minutes to kick in, and then I just want to crash.
The decision-making process of Umkhonto we Sizwe, and I know beyond any doubt that Umkhonto we Sizwe is not an instrument for change.
But you're a member of it.
I am a member of Umkhonto we Sizwe. So this is what happens with membership of political parties. A political party can't reflect your whole being as to what happens. You have to agree that there are certain things that you might not agree with, and then you influence from inside the ideological character and direction of that particular movement. It was not going to be possible, by the way, to have organizations if you think that your personal views as a person must 100% replicate what the organization that you serve in stands for. There are certain things which you might not agree with. Like there are so many people, for instance, who are religious zealots, and they don't become comfortable if the political organizations that they associate with have got different religious expressions and manifestations. So there are certain things that you
Yo, Floyd is such an amazing speaker. Oh, wow. I love his English.
you look into.
So, guys, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, it doesn't make sense that he's the one who's saying it. But what he's saying is true. There is no political party that is going to totally speak for everything that you are advocating for. There is some things in every political party that you, as a political party member, you are going to sit there and say, but here I don't agree with my party here. Here my party can go. They can go alone. I'm not going there. I'm not supporting Israel. I'm not supporting Palestine. I'm not supporting the LGBTQ movement. I'm not supporting Christians. I'm not supporting African spiritual. You are going to have a time where you are going to say, no, I'm not going to believe in these people. But he says here that you must try to influence from inside. You have superior logic, and you talk to your people. You try to influence, and talk to them from inside. Uhlulekile to do that, Floyd, in the EFF. Uhlulekile to do that in the ANC. Uhlulekile to do that in the MK. Right? And I'm happy that he makes the example about religion, because I told you guys always, when you want to divide black people, talk about the politics, you divide black people. Talk about religion, you divide black people. And talk about tribes, you are going to divide black people. And the last one is classism, but I don't touch that, because classism knows no color. It's not a black thing. It's not a black thing. The rich go with the rich, the poor go with the poor. Classism is always there. But anyways, you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's what Floyd Shivambu said there. So it's funny to me that he does not apply what he's saying there. And I'm not against Floyd or anything like that. But what you say, practice what you preach. Because you had the opportunity to use your superior logic from within there in the EFF. You couldn't.
Yo, Michelle, you think Floyd should write books, be a publisher, a media person, make his money that way, like Mbuyiseni has gone to the radio? Because there were questions, or if he's not going to be in politics, where is he going to be? And then he would come up with Maibuye. You think that Floyd, I mean, is he after money? I'm wondering. I mean, we all should be after money. I want to work, of course, and build something, but if it becomes profitable, like a company, I would sell it. If somebody can give me cash and, valuations of companies on a lady multiplying, when your company is performing, you kind of sell it at a multiplied level. There's that video that we saw the other day from the guy from Goldman Sachs. So all I'm saying is that in my mind, I do not want to work forever. If I had a company and it required constant attention and management of staff and etc., and somebody was to come and say, look, I'm bigger than you, I buy companies, you know how capitalism works, mergers, acquisitions, you've started some that we like, we just like to plug it into ourselves, I'd sell it, then I'd go chill. Floyd, he seems like he wants to stay alive. Politics, of course, will help him continue to earn money, but you're saying maybe he would have a different way. If he sold copies or books, he would do better, he would find satisfaction and be able to just stay away from politics. What do you think about his continued existence in politics? Do you think he should continue politics or just step off and let what remains remain, and for him to go take care of himself, make his money, be a businessman, and make change that way? Yeah, I urge, but hey, with selling books, he wouldn't empower too many people. But I urge politicians to stop yapping and open businesses and hire people, bruh.
Why not? It's a long debate that we must have for people who leave political parties, but when they are outside, they tell other people a political party is not always going to be reflective of what you believe all the time. Really? So take your own words, man. Take your own words. I want you to hear what he said about
Gary V. Yeah, I like the dude. I've been checking him from a long time back. And then after the NFTs, he kind of lost his credibility because he went full on like, this is going to pop. NFTs, the metaverse, you've got virtual assets, things that you can hang on the wall in the metaverse, and people can walk through your house and see that you're rich in the metaverse, and people want to trade these baseball cards. Man, the metaverse and NFTs was just a return of what Americans used to play with when they were young. Baseball cards that used to have value. You keep this one for a long time, you keep them in mint condition, and you're able to go sell them at that show, Pawn Stars. So Gary Vee since then, and he's getting old, bro, like he doesn't seem so relevant to the social media age. Although he has a definite powerful voice, you can listen to him and get a lot. I keep keeping up with him. I used to watch another one back in the day, Alex Becker and also Sam Ovens. Those two, I appreciated them so much, including Gary Vee.
The MK political party in its current formation. What is the thought of Floyd Shivambu when he looks at the MK political party?
As the critic of Mkhonto we Sizwe, which I'm a member of, to say that in its current configuration, it is not an instrument for change, it is not an instrument for liberation, it is not an instrument for progress. There are people who have captured it for narrow purposes, for self-enrichment, for wrong purposes altogether. And you can't have an organization that is run in the manner in which Mkhonto we Sizwe is being run, being entrusted with the responsibilities of leading the state and government. That is why we are in this conversation now as to whether we should establish or not a political movement that will replace these other organizations.
Yeah. So in its current formation, the MK political party is not an instrument for change. It's not an instrument for liberation, and it's not an instrument for progress. He is starting to say this about the MK, ladies and gentlemen. He is starting to say this. He cannot. It's quite clever to use the word in his current formation, because I'm telling you there is a possibility Floyd will go back to MK. I'm telling you. But anyways, let's see what will happen with the process of his membership there in the MK political party. Just wait and see what is going to happen there. Anyways, he says you cannot have an organization being run the way the MK political party is run, or you cannot trust the MK political party to run the government, the state of the country. And it was, for me, it was quite interesting for him to say that. And I think we must continuously highlight it. Floyd is talking against the MK now. He's no longer going beating around the bush. Why is he doing that? He needs to show the caucus that is following him at Baibuye that he's totally against the MK. Remember, he's totally against the EFF, he's totally against the ANC. Very important for him now to take that stance, because they don't want to follow a leader that who's lukewarm. They don't want to do that. They want to know that Floyd, please, because other people left the MK and they come to Maibuye, which is going to be a political party. They don't want to hear you praise the MK political party. All they want you to do is to shoot down the MK political party, shoot down the EFF, and shoot down the other political party. And that is how we African people have always been, not always been, in politics has always been. But at least he also shot down on the Democratic Alliance. He said something about the Democratic Alliance, and I enjoyed that. I was like, hey, at least he's saying something about the DA also. It's not only about the black parties. This is
the less said about the DA, the better, because the DA is a representation of white interests. It's about protection of the remnants and consequences of apartheid and colonialism. They want to protect the white privilege that has existed due to the racist system of colonialism and apartheid. So we are legitimately raising these questions to society. And when we are raising these questions, it doesn't mean that we don't have views. We have views, but we do want to listen to the people of South Africa as to how do we shape a new movement that will become a true representation of people's aspirations and interests.
Yeah, that is what is going on, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with him 100% when it comes to the Democratic Alliance. They are just there to protect white monopoly capitalists. They are just there. We need to beat on the head of the snake of the DA every time we see it, every time, and remind the colored people that we don't care. Go to Gaten, come to the ANC, go to the EFF, go to Action SA, go to the black parties, go to the black parties where your interests are going to be protected, and they will never be protected in the DA. The DA is playing black people. They are using some black faces to win more votes from the black communities, but they really don't care about that. Now, let me, before this video becomes too long now, I thought I was going to do it in 15 minutes, but anyway, let's hear the last point. What is Floyd going to do with this matter of dual membership? Is he going to start another party and still have the MK, membership? What is the deal? Because for me, that's one thing I wanted to hear in this interview, and he answered the question by saying this.
Well, you interestingly put about the MK party.
Espionage.
You're still a member of the MK party. So how close or how far are you from separating yourself?
The KGB's Russian
that, by the way, is going to be
Mossad,
an outcome
right?
of a process. It's not up to me. If the people that we consult say that we should form a political party, and that political party will not allow dual membership amongst its leaders, I will fully abide by that. If the collective of Maibuya consultation process say that please leave membership of any other political party, I'm ready to let go of that membership. If MK says we are not comfortable with you presiding over a process of considering founding another political party, we are going to take our membership, let them take it. But I'm committed to this process of Maibuya consultation process to seek solution to the people of South Africa, not just for ourselves now, but for future generations.
Yeah, so like I said, it's important to hear this from Floyd. The people who follow him, they want to hear this from Floyd. Are you still into this MK thing? We are in any membership of MK. Why are you still keeping the MK? So he's saying, listen, I'm going to be in this process of Maibuya, and I think there is a high possibility he might just try to push for a dual citizenship and say, listen, if you are in Maibuya and you want to be in another political party, you can have dual membership. We don't have a problem, but you can't be a leader in Maibuya and have dual membership. I think he might play some tricks and do that. Floyd Shivambu, it's a very slicky person.
Wow,
I'm expecting anything from Floyd at this point of time for him to gain more people. He will do anything in his power to gain more people. So I was very impressed to hear him say, listen,
who are your niggas?
If the MK said they want to take
where do you know the FSB from, man?
My membership, let them take it. So the MK will know when they
know
get
some
into
strange things
with Floyd, getting into disciplinary processes with Floyd. They will know that he does not beg that membership. So they will go into those negotiations knowing that they don't have an upper hand on him. He does not necessarily want to come back to the MK political party. They will have to make a crazy offer like deputy president for him to come back in the MK political party. Hey, now deputy president, Colin Makubela, they are having a press conference today. It's 2 o'clock hour. It's 5 minutes to 2 now. Let me rest my faith. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave your thoughts on the comment section.
Res King said so. We were here, man. We came. So now we're not gonna watch Dan Mace. There's a crisis, yo. In the land of filmmaking, it's hectic. Like it's going down. Like 5 years ago, I came into media and there was the camera boom during that time. Like cameras were stepping up. People were going from HD to 4K. You understand? Cameras were going from shooting color depth of 8-bit to 10-bit. Chroma subsampling from 420 to 422. You know? And so there was this rush, man. I was like, I felt like I'm arriving at a boom. And so that boom of cameras and production gear was real, of course, but it was the sign of competition going into a market where production had always been expensive and it was going to have an impact. Cheap cameras that are extremely dope, streaming platforms, COVID-19, pulling people away from the cinemas into the homes. Like that radically changed the land of media. So much. Ne? And so there are videos popping up everywhere about film production, Hollywood dying You understand? And this Dan Mace guy is a South African dude. He's one of the best, these Cape Town guys who've got all the resources, etc. He's friends with Mr. Beast. He's worked and he's probably still working on Mr. Beast's team doing his media stuff. Before that, he had linked up with another creator called Casey Neistat, the vlogger, the guy who made vlogging popular, the New Yorker. And so, these things are not working out these days, you know. They've become so extremely difficult. There's so much content everywhere. The introduction of TikTok means that people can have fun for 2 hours with... How many short videos can you watch in 2 hours, bro, scrolling? Bruh, you can watch over 200 in 2 hours. And so, filmmakers who are professional with all of this gear, are seeing a very, 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 very hard time. I mean, I know this industry so deep that even the camera company, Red Digital Cinema, in the world we have the gold and silver standard. Gold is Arri, Alexa. That is the best camera in the world with the best dynamic range, followed by Red Digital Cinema. I mean, I was so close with Red, so close with the partnerships manager at Red. I was near buying a Red camera. It cost 700,000, and I was gonna be out and about shooting wildlife, etc. And I had seen a niche there. In the midst of all of this production boom, I was seeing a niche in the wildlife film production side. But then I would come across problems there too. I would realize that, Netflix had created the biggest nature program there is. Big budget. You see, visuals from Africa, visuals from Patagonia, visuals from, the orangutans and silverback apes in North Africa over there, kangaroos in Australia, Gen 2 penguins in the North Pole and Cape penguins. Like they send out production teams all across the world to shoot everything, and then it's compiled into a big blockbuster of nature content. So now that raised people's appetite for nature content. Like people's perception of what watching quality is the Netflix series Our Planet. That big budget endeavor pretty much sucked the money out of all of these independent short little crews that do production. It took money away from them. So if you can make a short series of penguins, bruh, there's penguin enough inside Our Planet. So Our Planet belongs to Netflix, and there's another one that is a big one, which has been in existence for some time. That one is Planet Earth. That one belongs to BBC. So these huge juggernauts have taken all the candy that can be eaten. So we're not gonna watch this. What should we watch then? I had prepared Why Married Men Lose Self-Respect. So let's be done with politics. Let's watch this. I think the sleep pill has been in my system for 15 minutes, so another 20 there, or 30 minutes, then I head out and go sleep.
About 10 years ago, my oldest daughter was about 15 years old, and I was driving her and her best friend to the mall or the movies or something like that, and I was overhearing them. I was eavesdropping on them, talking about their social lives, and they were discussing, gossiping about some guy who was simping on some girl. Now, being a middle-aged man, the word simp was not part of my vocabulary. And as a curious person, I interjected and asked the question, what is a simp? And they both rolled their eyes and giggled at me because I was stupid. And they proceeded to tell me their definition of a simp, which was essentially that this guy is just giving her all this stuff, no self-respect, and she's basically using him. Anyway, I looked it up in the Urban Dictionary or whatever and found that a simp is a man who will dedicate all of his resources, time, energy, money to a woman who really doesn't have any interest in him, and he will do it at the expense of his self-respect and dignity. Well, it didn't take very long, maybe my next thought or two, for me to realize in my marriage that I had become a simp.
Oh my Lord.
It was a bit of a shock. I could feel the shame kind of rush over me all at once, where I realized that I had become that I was that guy that they would have been laughing at. Yeah, it was pretty tough to handle. It was pretty unnerving in a way. And I had to give some thought to how this happened. I wasn't like this before. How did this happen to me? How did I become a simp? How had marriage turned me into a simp? That's what I'm going to talk about. How marriage can turn even the most masculine, self-confident men into weak, quivering simps. Given enough time. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk.
I believe simping occurs on a spectrum. So you can be a minor simp, or you can be a major simp. Simping and seduction are separated by a very thin line. So when you're dating a girl, you're getting to know a girl for the first time, you don't know whether or not she likes you or not. So you might, in your endeavor to seduce this girl, overdo it a little bit, you know? That's not simping. No, that's seduction. Now, if she says, I've already got a boyfriend, or she blows you off with something else, like, yeah, I'm not interested in dating anyone right now, and you continue to lavish her with gifts, money, and attention, and become her emotional tampon so she can cry on your shoulder whenever her boyfriend is giving her a hard time, well, then you've crossed that line. You've gone over to being a simp. When you're married, technically it's hard to be a simp because you've already won the girl. You know what I mean? So you've already done all the right things. You've gotten there. You have expressed whatever level of masculinity was necessary for you to achieve that, and you are now in a marriage with a woman. You've hit the ultimate relationship. You have won the race. You are in. Yet somehow, from this perspective, from having been the boyfriend, from having seduced the girl, from having achieved all of the accolades associated with being a good man, having crossed over into being marriage material, and now you're married. And for some reason, 5, 10, 15 years later, you find yourself acting like a simp. This happens a lot. In fact, I would suggest that this happens in the majority of marriages. Thing is, most middle-aged men and older don't know what a simp is, so they don't realize that they're doing it.
Good night, Mama.
But yeah, it happens quite often. So how is it that perfectly good men can go from being confident, masculine, pulled together, the boyfriend, the husband, have all their shit together, and eventually evolve into being a simp?
Ooh.
Well, it starts when we're kids, and we don't realize it when it's happening, but we are taught, especially as boys, that there is honor in sacrifice. That sacrificing yourself for a larger cause is an honorable act.
Yeah.
And we see all the, war movies and, all the great stories about how men sacrifice themselves and their own well-being for the benefit of others. And marriage is the perfect opportunity and the perfect excuse for men to do that, to put their wife and their kids, their family, ahead of their own needs. And most men, when they enter into marriage, are of that mindset. Like they're going to do whatever it takes. And I can tell you, once you start bringing babies into the world, you feel like Superman. Like you will just lay it out there. You will do everything in your power to make sure that kid, that your wife, are safe and healthy and are thriving. So you put in the extra hours at work. You do what you can around the house. You're doing everything that you think is necessary for everyone to achieve their goals, to be healthy, happy, and content in their world. Unfortunately, women don't see that as sacrifice. They see that as par for the course. Like it's just baseline.
Yeah.
What you're offering at that level, even though it might be far more than anything that you ever thought was possible, and from an external perspective, people would say, yeah, he's really given a lot to this relationship.
Yes.
Well, she may not have that same opinion. She might think that you aren't giving enough, that she's got a disproportionate share of the burden, that she's more engaged, say, with the kids or the cleaning or the house or something. And because of that, she's going to expect more from you. And she's going to have this conversation that is going to change everything. And it's subtle, but every man has this conversation with his wife at one point or another. And once you've had this conversation, just know that the seeds of your simpness or your simptitude are being planted. So the conversation goes something like this. She says, I don't think you're doing enough around the house. And you go back with, I don't know what you're talking about. I think I do a ton around the house. I think I'm helping out a lot.
I face this exact same thing. So I was told that I'm not helping out enough in the house, and I felt like, but this is a clean new apartment without that much space that needs two people to clean it, because there isn't two people paying for it. I pay for it. We're the only two living here, and the demand at first to control me was that of the cleaning, the issue with the cleaning. Because, you're not helping out, you're not doing this. And there are people on the outside as well saying, clean as well, women like it, they find it so sweet when a guy just helps out around the house. And there's truth to that. There's definite truth to that. Men should not enter a space with a woman and then live like he has never been alone, like he's never gained the capacity or abilities to clean his own space, etc. Yes, of course, when you're married to a woman, you now rely on her a bit more. But do not show total reliance, show effectiveness. So there's that line in between where you want to be effective and demonstrate that you are still capable. And I got caught right there. She says, no, do a little bit more and do a little bit more. And then in a short space of time, I realized that no, bruh. I was told that this will make you happy, but it's making me unhappy, and I'm not able to earn to the best of my ability. This level makes me earn enough only, and then the rest of my time gets occupied by cleaning. Like I'm falling off. My life is changing. I'm a hustler. There's money out there to be gotten, bruh. But I had to literally pause money to be sweet and clean and show that I didn't marry a woman to enslave her. And then that demonstration, now I had to just be my life. Now I was actually being quoted. You actually are able. You've demonstrated it here and then there. Why don't you now keep it up? I was like, bro, I am not designed to keep it up. I'm supposed to keep up the money. But what say you? What do you choose? And at that time, daughter, is money everything? Hey, guys, is money everything? When a man is cashing in and bringing money in and that's his credit and he wants to chill, money makes us happy in the home. It lights the lights. It keeps us warm. Say, is money everything? Money is everything. Money is the bed we're sleeping on. It's the electricity we got on. It's the TV that we watch. It's the food that we eat. It's the safety that we enjoy in this place that we live. Money is everything. So what do you mean? So bring money and everything that money gets and clean. And then have little authority. Be accused of, exerting your dominance too much. Brothers like me must win too. When you've provided safety and security as a guy who's never had a job, as a gassy guy like me, bruh, this is a proud achievement, bro. But I find myself still facing criticism, and I don't know.
And she says, well, there's just so many things that need to be done that you just don't see. And you respond with, well, if you tell me what needs to be done, I'll just do it. And then she comes back with this, and this is the key right here. I don't want to have to tell you. I want you to just know what needs to be done. Yeah, it seems innocuous enough. You think, wait a second, I just need to have a higher level of awareness. I don't know what she's talking about, whatever. I always put my radar up, and I'll just try to be more aware of things that need to be done. So you think, okay, fine. I will do my best to just know what needs to be done. But if you need to see something, you just tell me.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind that by the time this conversation has happened, there's already been a certain amount of withdrawal of affection, silent treatments, expressions
sense
of dissatisfaction from her to you about, her lack of, being impressed with your contributions to the household.
Yeah, bruh, when women are not seeing their expectations met, bruh, they spray it in the air so you can smell it. Like, so you just know it, so you can feel it, or like, I'm not having the greatest time ever. Provision is not enough. I want glamour and big things. And I want you to cook and clean and be, a sweet guy that I wanted. You hear say, I wanted a guy who helps around the house and whatever. No, I'm the guy with money. Which one do you actually want? Do you want a guy who's sweet and helping with the dishes? Or do you want a guy who is moneyed, respectful, able to take kids to good schools? What makes you happy? Kids having a good education or dishes being clean? I want you to just know.
Keep in mind that by the time this conversation has happened, there's already been a certain amount of withdrawal of affection, silent treatments, expressions of dissatisfaction from her to you about, her lack of, being impressed with your contributions to the household. So now there is this implicit threat that unless you pick up your game, that you're not going to be the beneficiary of a lot of those marital experiences that you got into this game for to begin with. So sex is going to be off the table.
Yes.
Affection is going to be off the table.
Off the table.
Even having a friend, companion, someone that you enjoy hanging out with is going to disappear.
Yeah.
So you start doing everything you can. You start simping. You start finding ways that you can contribute to the household in any way possible.
Yeah.
But there is no way that you will ever know what she needs you to do.
Yeah.
And so, as a result, you're going to fail.
Yes.
Now, to compensate for your failure, you're going to start doing extra stuff. You're going to start buying her gifts. You're going to start asking her all the time, how are you feeling today? Is there anything I can do for you? You're going to start becoming an indentured servant to her because you're trying to make her happy. You want her to be happy so that you can have a happy life too. That's where that whole idea of happy wife, happy life has come from. is because other men have had that conversation, and they realize that the only way that they're going to have any peace in their life and remain married is to find ways to make her happy. Well, this begins not just the simping, which is the behavior, but the underlying problem is so much more dramatic. And I would suggest that there is emotional trauma associated with it on the par with emotional abuse. Let's talk about that next. Debu, don't go away, buddy. I need you to stay nearby. Yeah, I need you to stay nearby. I need to be able to see you. Do you want me to give you a treat? So, like I said earlier, when I'm describing a simp, what's happening there is the man's setting aside or losing his self-respect and his dignity. And when you're in the dating process and you set aside your self-respect and dignity in the process of what you think is a seduction, even though it might be something else, well, the trauma associated with that is relatively minor. It's more of a self-esteem thing at that point. But when you've been married to a woman and you've been put into this position where now you're being asked, or forced, I should say, coerced is probably a better word, extorted might be strong enough, to simp for your wife, well, that fucks with your head. That gets in there deep.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it takes until after the divorce before you...
Fairy tale novels, bro. A man like... Oh my God. There's no way to occupy a man with uselessness like wanting to see him clean, bro. Yeah, like when a woman finally achieves that, she realized that that is nothing rewarding. She didn't want that, but she wanted it when she wanted it. Because a man who cooks and cleans, bro, is broke. And once you're broke and you're cooking and cleaning, she's like, where's the money? And now when you have to cook and clean and get the money, she's like, where's the time? And then like, bro, you're screwed. And women just all in new marriages and new relationships just work themselves into that corner. It seems like there's a spell cast on everyone. Get the man to clean, believe that it's romantic. Once he's broke, flip and ask him for money. Once he's pursuing money, ask him for time. And then there's nothing anymore.
Reflect back on it and you realize how much you lost yourself in that moment, how much you gave of yourself, and how little you got in return. The psychological trauma that goes from being almost placed in a role of emotional servitude to another human being, whether it's in a marriage or in any kind of relationship, is pretty significant. It's pretty dramatic. And this Diddy trial is on, there's a lot of physical and emotional abuse that happened in those relationships. And of course it was perverted and weird beyond all comprehension. But there's a psychological aspect of it that I think caused the most trauma. And I would liken the kind of trauma that men come out of marriage with when they reflect back on their surrender of their self-respect and their dignity on behalf of this relationship, on behalf of this woman. It has that kind of effect on your mind where you really do lose yourself. Your identity gets lost in this situation because it's hard for you to embrace this guy that you were at that time because you have no respect for him. You don't want that to be you. There's shame associated with it. And that shame is powerful. And the more shame you feel, the more depressed and traumatized you become. So, simping in a marriage is not just a step toward divorce, a big step toward divorce. It's a big step toward mental illness, to shame, to depression, to losing respect for yourself.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that you don't, like I said, realize until after you're out of the marriage. Now, I was somewhat fortunate to experience it, when my daughter defined it for me, and I realized that's what I was, and I realized that I was experiencing shame as a result of it. But the only thing that you can do, and I didn't do this at this point, the only thing that you can do is to get out of that marriage. Or I guess you could go to therapy. I mean, you could try addressing this issue in therapy. I doubt that would work. Because if your relationship has evolved or devolved to this state where
Quiero.
simping is a big part of the dynamic between the two of you,
What the hell for,
I don't see
man?
how it can be saved. It seems to me that that's beyond saving. All right, you guys, I think that's all I got for you today. I hope this video has been enlightening. I know that when you go through that kind of experience and you have that shame and that trauma that comes with it, it's really hard to come to terms with. And I hope that this video, by just shedding some light on it, will help you understand that you're not alone in this situation, that lots and lots and lots of men are either going through it right now or have gone through it in the past. Simping is not something that we do naturally. It's something that we either coerce ourselves into through a lack of self-respect. No, Debu, leave it. Or it's something we get coerced into, through a relationship like that. Debu, no, don't play with that. Debu thinks this thing is a stick. He wants to play with it. All right, that's all I got for you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you know some poor guy that's going through this right now, I implore you, share this video with him. Hopefully it'll help him escape the clutches of this terrible situation. Stay healthy, and if you can, stay single.
Yo, we've come to the end of our stream today. Thank you very much to all of you for joining me. I'll be sure to look out for LP Man there. I can feel the sleep pill starting to come on, and I should set my phone to get me kicked off at 6 a.m. so that I can move everything along and be fresh and ready for the brand new news. I think I'll start challenging Sambit. I want to exploit his videos. Yeah, he's trendy, his movie. He's releasing a bunch of videos. And so I think I'll get my algorithm up by doing his videos challenging him. If Katleho also joins in, we'll do the same there. And I saw something where right here, Elon threatens Trump with nuclear something. What was that about? US dollar tanks to historic low. What's happening? What's breaking? 25 minutes ago. We screwed up. Young men abandoned Trump. Remember how Rob Hershoff was busy celebrating the fact that Trump had pulled up a campaign using podcasts and young men. And so now young men leave Trump. That's another video by Kyle. Bro, look at Kulinski's videos, bro. They move. Like, how many? Look, in the last, how many? Let's look to 24 hours ago. Okay, so 1 day ago in 1 day, look, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 videos in 24 hours. 12! That is hectic. Extra hectic. But in all of them, you can see that he's got a sit-down situation where he seems to do all of these videos the whole day. And that is a very serious pace. No? So I was looking for the one where Elon threatens nuclear takedown of Trump. That's 370,000. It's the highest so far in this 24 hours, and it's only 11 minutes. Yeah, let's stick around for another 11 minutes and straight shot this one. Sleep knowing what is happening between Trump, so that we can meet Colonel Chris White and laugh at Sambit very nicely as they try to cope and distract us from what is actually happening. Did we find out if Sambit is Zim or not? We will find out.
The girls are fighting again, y'all. The girls are fighting again. So Trump and Elon Musk have been trading barbs for quite a while now. Let's pick up the fight from this Trump tweet here. He came out and said the following. Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate, electric vehicle mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced.
Yo, Mr. PM, only here to watch and listen, nothing more. Yo, comment. Please press like. Everybody who is out here still watching at this point, let's all make sure to click like if we're still out here. We're getting joined by more people each day. There's new faces. Welcome, Mr. PM. You've joined us at the last video of the day. Live in RSA. Tabs, where were you, man? You just came back from work, had to maybe eat, shower, and now chill out. Welcome, bro. This is the last video. I'm leaving. I popped a sleeping pill so far, and it's about to head in, and I have to just go and sleep.
To own one. Elon may get more sub. The girls are fighting again, y'all. The girls are fighting again. So Trump and Elon Musk have been trading barbs for quite a while now. Let's pick up the fight from this Trump tweet here. He came out and said the following. Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate, electric vehicle mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. So this is glorious. I love this. Basically threatening all of Elon Musk's subsidies. That is something that for the life of me, I don't understand why Democratic presidents didn't do it. They should have cut off Elon subsidies in an instant. Because first of all, it's true that all he does is make rockets that explode. I think, what was it? Was it 7? Was it 11? It was one of the other. I think it was 11 rocket explosions by SpaceX just recently. 11. Blowing through town. He's taken $38 billion in subsidies. Okay. Well, Trump didn't stop there. So here he is being questioned about his feud with Elon, and listen to what he says.
Elon Musk. Nothing, you know, he's upset that he's losing his EV mandate, and he's he's very upset about things, but, you know, he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that.
Again, that's him threatening his subsidies. Oh, he lost his EV mandate. He can lose a lot more than that. He can lose a lot more than that. All right, we're still not done. We got some more Trump. Here he is, yet again, asked about deporting Elon.
We got a lot of hostages back, but we're going to talk about that. I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon.
Oh, snap, son. So he called Doge the monster that might have to go back and look at Elon. You're calling it the monster? What happened? I thought Doge was awesome. I thought Doge was amazing. I thought you were telling everybody how successful they are and how they're getting rid of all the waste, fraud, and abuse. No, now you're admitting it's actually a monster. That's quite admission there. But when he was asked if Elon should be deported, he said, I don't know, we'll have to take a look. Maybe we should stick Doge on him.
He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric.
He just bought an electric car. He just bought a Tesla. He did a fucking Tesla sales show, like a late night infomercial from the early 2000s. He did it on the White House lawn. Hawking Tesla. Oh my God.
Maybe a hybrid. Maybe someday a hydrogen. If you have a hydrogen car, it has one problem. It blows up, you know? So I'm going to give that one to Peter. So let Peter test it out.
All right, we're still not done. So Trump was just asked, you just saw this clip. Are you going to deport Elon Musk? But I have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? The monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies.
Yo, let's welcome Sirurule Murule, New Cheddar. Thank you for joining us. Tesla has had its ass handed to it by BYD in China and Europe. And things are just only getting worse. Tesla sales are on a downward spiral because Tesla just can't compete with Chinese innovation. Yes, indeed.
So Elon sees this, he replies, so tempting to escalate this. So tempting. But I'll refrain for now. For now? Okay. All right, are we getting somewhere? This is interesting. Ready? Elon came out and said the following. This is after the big, beautiful bill passed. Remember, he's opposed to the big, beautiful bill. For all the wrong reasons, to be clear, for all the wrong reasons. He's mad that his goodies got left out of that bill largely, okay? A lot of the stuff he wanted was in that bill. Trump took it out. Now he's pissed. Okay, ready? Elon says, removal of funding for enforcement of federal contempt of court orders is the actual crux of this spending bill. This is nominally aimed at removal of illegal immigrants, but obviously also enables many other abuses of power by the president. Should this be allowed? In other words, Elon is saying they slipped a provision into this bill to further allow the Trump regime to ignore court orders. That's what he's saying. So is Elon correct to point out this is a problem? Absolutely. But the hypocrisy of this is astounding because all of Doge was nothing but an exercise in ignoring lawful court orders. Every single penny that was cut from Doge was completely and utterly illegal, and every court that has looked at it has said exactly that. So yes, Elon, I agree. The Trump regime should abide by court orders. That includes you. That includes you. You probably violated more court orders than anybody. Yes, they're violating a lot now when it comes to immigration stuff. Really, they're abductions and human traffickings. But they're violating a lot of court orders there. But I honestly think Doge violated even more court orders. So Elon, I love this. So Elon comes out and he says the following. If this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican uniparty so that people actually have a voice. Let me just say, the people who are still saying uniparty in the year of our Lord 2025, get a life. Because that, I mean, to pretend, like, bro, the parties are the same, bro. The parties are... Really, after everything that's happened in the second Trump regime, you sincerely believe the parties are exactly the same. Like, there's literally no hope for you. You are incapable of objectively analyzing empirical evidence and understanding reality as such. Okay, so that's the first point. But what he's saying, I'm going to start my own party, and I'm going to try to get politicians to run for that party. Look, there's logistical problems with this. Our system is totally rigged against third parties. But understand something. He is the richest man in the world. So even if he could start a party and just, all you got to do is peel away like 2% from the Republicans, 2-3%. And the Republicans are Cookington. And so he's threatening it. He's threatening it. Is he going to deliver it? Okay, more. He comes out and says 80%. So he did a poll. 80% vote for a new party. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. That's his thing, like, okay, the people will it, so now we're going to support it. We also have this. Crystal called this, man. I got to give credit to Crystal. She called this a long time ago. As soon as Trump and Elon started having beef, she goes, he's going to try to do a face turn. He's going to try to do a face turn. He's going to try to get back in league with the Democrats, on good terms with the Democrats. Watch. That's what she said. Well, I'll be damned. She's exactly right. I mean, this is what he's trying to do here. So now Elon Musk comes out and says, follow at this you some real gems. This you is literally, as Evan points out here, he's having people follow an account that exclusively makes fun of right-wing hypocrisy. So these are the ones that Elon liked. Speaker Mike Johnson, our national debt is the greatest crisis we face. Passed One Big Beautiful Bill Act. That obviously massively adds to the debt and the deficit. So total hypocrisy. This left-wing account called it out. Elon Musk is enjoying that. More. Senator Ted Cruz, same thing, bitching about the debt and the deficit, supporting the bill that adds a colossal amount to the debt and the deficit. Elon Musk enjoys that too. More. Charlie Kirk, same thing, whining about the debt and the deficit, boom, supporting the One Big Beautiful Bill. So all of these bills, all of these Republicans are complete and utter hypocrites. Now, it's possible Elon saw this and like literally just enjoys the hypocrisy burning on the deficit in particular, right? But if you follow that account, all you have to do is follow that account for one day and you realize, bro, they're not, like, they're not just focusing on the debt and the deficit. They're going after Republican hypocrites all over the place, including probably Elon Musk. I'd be shocked if that account didn't go after Elon Musk at one point or another. So now, here we are. Elon is threatening to go nuclear on Trump, threatening to start a third party to even peel off 2-4% and destroy the Republican Party in perpetuity. Literally, the one Republican who's raising hell within the Republican caucus, Thomas Massie, who opposed this bill and crusaded against it, Elon is like, I'll give you all the money you want. You're not going to lose. I got your back. I'll give you as much money as you possibly want because Trump is now trying to have Massie primary and destroy the Republican Party in perpetuity. Literally, the one Republican who's raising hell within the Republican caucus, Thomas Massie, who opposed this bill and crusaded against it, Elon is like, I'll give you all the money you want. You're not going to lose. I got your back. I'll give you as much money as you possibly want because Trump is now trying to have Massie primaried and lose. So Elon's like, my ass, you're going to do that. I'll give Massie however much money he needs in order to defeat your shitty primary opponent. So it's on, man. It's on like Donkey Kong. And remember, Elon correctly said that Trump was in the Epstein files. He correctly said that. Then Trump fired back a little bit. Elon came down from his fucking ketamine binge, his ketamine high. And he said, maybe I went a little too far. Maybe I shouldn't have said. No, Elon, you were correct. Trump is definitely in the Epstein files. We did a segment on it. You go watch that segment. I think it's titled like Proof Trump's in the Epstein files or something. Go watch that segment and you tell me he's not in the Epstein. He absolutely is in the Epstein files. It's all but validated. Secular talk approved. So he's threatening a nuclear takedown. Is that just the idea of the third party to destroy the Republican Party? Maybe. Is Elon dumb enough to think his America Party will have a chance at ever winning an election? He is an idiot, so I think he might actually think they have a chance. They have a 0% chance of winning the election. Zero. Like the Green Party's been around for forever. The Libertarian Party's been around for forever. They got like dick to show for being around forever. Because again, this system is rigged against third parties. But it doesn't matter. Is the threat, we'll just take the Republican Party by peeling 2, 3, 4%. Very likely. Is the threat, hey, maybe we'll revisit that Epstein thing. Possible. But this is, the fight is now on. And now it's crossed over into the real world. It's not just words anymore. Now it's actions. Now it's Trump saying we got to get rid of Massey, and Elon Musk saying, no, I'm going to give Massey however much money he needs to stay in here. We're starting this party. Fuck the big beautiful bill. Trump now threatening, cut off your subsidies, potentially deport you, have Doge look at you. So it's on, baby. And all I have to say is let them fight. It's like that one picture that floats around on social media every now and then, somebody in a game holding up a sign that says, I just hope both teams lose. That's exactly where I'm at with this. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop.
Hey, yo. Thank you for joining. Yo, Black Faith. Nightmare, can't sleep with a full stomach. Oh, just having cookies. The sleeping pills give me munchies, so that is definitely started. I'm going to have to go get some more food again. Otherwise, it's just so freaking discomforting. So I do this, bro. If I force myself to try to sleep, my legs get out and go to the kitchen because now I'm half asleep and hungry. So there's this zombie that happens, bro. Nah? So yeah. Comments. Morole, Black Faith. Yeah, notice that too. What most people don't realize is that competition in the Chinese EV market is fierce. Only the cream rise to the top. Tesla has simply been outpriced and out innovated. Yo, Morole, you need to bring on the comments. Join us, ne? I'll try to get this stream going at the same time every day, then K-Yoga 9 and sleep. So look out for us between 6 and 9. I think that is the time for now, but we'll get it earlier and earlier. Oh my gosh, bro, I wish I didn't have to go earlier than that because now others are still at work or traveling home. Or maybe I'll get my wife to work from the other room when she's working the week where she's working at home. But yo, let me catch y'all next time. I will see you. I love you and appreciate having all of y'all. See you next time. Good night.